Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Animal Kingdom Season 6, Episodes 3 and 4. We have another 2-hour dose of this show. There's a number of things that you can just feel like the writers are slowly setting up here because we are going to get to something that is big, explosive, and crazy and probably make all of us very sad.
Yeah, there is a nice, big, juicy heist coming up. And so these two episodes were really sort of setting up what's going to be coming in.
And Pope, no, Pope, bad things are coming to you, Pope. I'm really worried.
No,
See,
don't say such things.
okay, we'll talk all about everything that is going on here with Andrew. We'll get into the flashbacks. There's a good many things to talk about, but of course, hit that subscribe button. We are here after every episode of Animal Kingdom. We will be your guide through this crazy world of hijinks with the Cody boys, and we don't want you guys to miss any of that.
Also, follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. We have a whole bunch of new pictures up there, so we would really appreciate that.
Okay, this is the good and bad thing I think about these two episodes here is that for me, like the Pope storyline right now is kind of like way up here in terms of like awesomeness.
It's always way up here. This happened last season
Yeah.
too. Pope is the most fascinating character on this show, one of the most fascinating characters on all of TV.
Yeah.
His story is always like an A plus, 10 out of 10. Last season, they didn't seem to really know what to do with Craig, and he was kind of like going off the rails or whatever. And this season, it's like, okay, they kind of figured out what to do with Craig, but now they don't know what to do with Darren.
Yeah, that is the thing. It is like Pope up here, Craig kind of up here, Darren right around here. Jay, we're not even going to mention where that story is right now.
Yeah, I mean, Jay's real function right now is to set up this whole new heist.
Yeah, good on you for setting up this new whenever I see the, legal assistant love interest,
boy.
I am automatically just like get out at this point. Like I'm already done with that story.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that they're not really focusing more on Jay really stepping into Smurf's role. Like he really is the person who's kind of like, okay, we need to like get the money flowing out. Like we need these businesses getting together. Like we got to really figure this out. And we saw a little bit of some of that where they were like, okay, we got to clear out this building with the guy who didn't want to leave. And, they are trying, but Jay just can't get any sort of control over everyone. And I think that really needs to be more of the focus for Jay than this love interest. Like I couldn't care less about her.
Yeah.
But we've got, Darren's got everything with his business that seems to be going okay. Craig's got his gym and he is trying to stay sober. We saw him slip a little bit, but that is something that happens with addiction. You take some steps forward, take some steps back. Things with Vince seem to be going fairly well, even though he slept with Vince's ex-wife and the mother of his child. He didn't know. Vince is like the most understanding person ever. Like I was just like, wow, you really are like, Bass, okay.
I have a lot of questions for Vince. Like, first of all, how do you not say something about that in advance? Like, what's going on there? Also, you seem to be the fastest person to ever make friends with anybody. You just randomly show up at the gym, and then the next episode, y'all are hanging out all the time.
Something is off. I don't know what it is. I don't think he's a cop. And I know that, Craig's already brought that up to kind of be like, oh, I think you're a cop. Oh, I'll show you. Bang, 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 whatever, right? And to be like, no, I'm not. But there is something. And I really think maybe they're a new crew that want to be the new sort of Cody boys and take over everything, because the Codys had kind of dipped off a little bit over the past few months. So we saw the local guy kind of go to Darren and be like, hey, like you guys used to be the guys that kind of took care of all of us, and now what's happening?
Here's my crazy theory on this right now, that I think that Vince is connected to someone that we have seen in the past, someone who has helped orchestrate things in the past. I mean, maybe it's somebody like Billy. I think Dennis Leary's going to come back in some shape or form this season. I just think if this is the final season, give us a million different curtain calls. Like, give us a lot of people that we have not seen. Maybe he's connected to Baz on some level. I mean, it seems like we're gonna, for
Mhm.
whatever reason, see that character in like flashbacks or something in the present day.
No, I think him being connected to Baz probably is the connection, or is a good connection, because we do know that there is a lot more of Baz this season. Baz is a teenager, everything that's happening with Catherine and Baz both being gone. We have this new cop in that's
Yeah.
playing a little loose and fast with the rules. She's got this kid that's at the new skate park that's gonna be coming together for Pope, working for him, trying to be around, all that sort of stuff, spying on him. She's gone to go talk to Catherine's daughter. I was kind of like, did nobody speak to her at the beginning of all of this when Catherine went missing and Baz was dead and whatever? Like, it was seeming like this is the first time anyone's ever gone to the daughter to be like, "Hey, what do you know about this?" Oh, Uncle Pope was
Yeah.
here. Okay, how is that information not out there? So my theory is just that maybe the cop who's like above her is on Cody payroll.
Yeah, the only other explanation is that this person just sucks. And like either way, it is very weird that she was never questioned that seriously. It's like this is the first like competent officer who has been brought in to work on some of this stuff.
Yep.
It's like this whole storyline for Pope is great because like number one, it's nostalgic. It's a way to really dive into all this stuff with him and the
Yep.
relationships he had. And also it's so bittersweet because we see him really work to open himself up more to this skate park, or I think at first he views it as a just a way for him to get some sort of peace, and now he's starting to like realize this can be useful for other people as well. I can help these kids have this sort of life and escape that I never had because of Smurf and how terrible. And it's like he really takes an interest in this kid, and it's like, oh, look at you, Pope, and then this kid is gonna betray him too, regardless of whether or not they really want to.
Yeah, and that's what makes this story just so good this season,
Yeah.
because this is like not necessarily a redemption story for Pope, but more of just a growth story for Pope, where he is finally not with Smurf anymore. He's not under Smurf's thumb anymore. That, we saw that the skateboard and him skating was really his one joy that he had as a teenager, that was really taken away by Smurf. And now that Smurf is gone and all the weirdness that came along with it, because we saw in the past with, I thought they were finally going to go a little further with the Smurf and her weirdness with
Yeah.
her sons, where we saw Pope come back from the whole church and feeling weird. And then we saw Julia looking at Smurf through the doors, where Smurf just shut the bedroom door with her and Pope. And I was like, oh God, oh my God. So everything that's happening for Pope right now, building the ramp for himself, having some joy,
Yeah.
then having other kids come and seeing them have joy, and him finally being like, you know what? I'm going to need to get a good cut from this job because I'm going to make this a skate park, where then Jay's like, well, can you charge people for it? Like, let's try to make some money. And Pope's just like, what? No. Charge people to skate? Like, get out of here.
Pope's he's trying to be a good person, and that's the thing that makes me so just bummed out that he was under Smurf's thumb for so much of his life, is that, you see in both timelines how desperate he is to be someone different. It's like I don't know if the whole church storyline is going to be polarizing or not, but the way that I kind of look at it is it makes sense for a guy like him who has not found like love and a sense of community to be around like a group of people who are seemingly, giving him that, who are seemingly making him feel like he is a part of something, that he's, learning other things about himself. And you see how threatened Smurf is by this because she recognizes, okay, this could be a really tight-knit group who's going to influence him in ways that I can't influence him. I need to like get Baz over there. I need to do something to make sure this falls apart.
Yeah, and I actually really appreciate this storyline this season, because last season,
Yeah.
the thing that I was not the biggest fan of with Pope was him sort of like becoming part of that commune or
Ugh.
cult or whatever was going on. But now that makes more sense
Yeah.
now that this is happening right now, because he's very sort of interested in a group with a different bit of spirituality that is accepting of him, that is open to listen to him. And now this makes sense from last season, where I'm like, okay, it's all connected. But yeah, Smurf is really kind of losing control of all her kids. I mean, she never really had control
Yeah.
of Julia, but she was trying to bring her in to be like, hey, I know you've got this crappy job, but what if you want this beautiful car? The only catch is it's stolen, so you need to be okay with that. And she's like, all right, I'm okay with that. But then she ends up in this situation where it's like, Baz keeps one of the computers, gives it to Julia. He's kind of going against her a bit. Pope is off at church. Julia's giving her attitude. That's just kind of like, how can I bring everyone together to stop this? I know. I'll send Baz over to the church, and then we will hit that church. I was like, oh, my heart just broke for Pope.
I know, Smurf is just the absolute worst, and this episode is yet another reminder of like how far she's willing to go in order to ruin people. Like, you're gonna go and try to destroy a freaking church. It's so messed up. Like, I will also say, just like as somebody who I'm very much a child of the '90s in a lot of ways. The little attention to detail in some of this, like, I remember going to the mall and, seeing all the clothes that had like that big like ink security thing on it. Like, I don't know if that still exists anymore, but that was everywhere. And seeing Smurf like dismantle that, that was very fascinating to me.
Yeah, no, it was.
Like, I'm enjoying the flashbacks a lot more than I thought I would as someone who really hated most of them last season.
Yeah, like last season, I didn't hate the flashbacks. They just didn't connect to what was going on in the present. It almost felt like, and I know that the network is going in a different direction and they're not really in the scripted anymore, but it felt like those particular flashbacks needed to be its own show. Like, it wasn't connected with anything in the present. Where these flashbacks are really good, and they are very much connected into what is going on in the present. And that's what I was missing last season, and I'm getting it in spades this season.
Yeah, it's making things a lot more satisfying, but of course that's also going to make it more heartbreaking if, Pope dies at the end of this, or
Why
Pope...
you gotta say things like that? Why
because
can't someone else die?
Yes, Jay can die, but regardless, this is I just feel like something bad is going to happen to at least one or two of the Codys. Yep. I think they are setting it up that Pope may end up surviving just because, like, they're showing all these sort of redemptive qualities that he has, and I don't think he can fully, he can't fully atone from all the things that he has done, but he can show that he wants to be a better person, and I'm not sure that Jay wants to be a better person. And, Craig has his moments, but Craig also has a ton of demons.
Yeah, that's the thing, is if last season was the final season, Craig was going to be the one that was going to end up dead. He was just on a path to destruction. But now that it's this season, and Craig really wants this. He really wants to be sober, and he's got a family, and he said it a couple times where he's like, my family just doesn't want me sober. And I don't know that that's 100% true. I think that they just want him kind of to be a little in the middle of all of this. Like, when he was off the rails last season, Darren and Jay were not having a good time with that. And now that he's sober, he's so focused on that he's not focused on the business part of it anymore. But I think, like, Darren's having selective memory here because he wasn't focused on the business last season either. If anyone's going to die this season, the way that it's being set up, Darren is going down that path. He is just so unhappy, and he is looking for more unhappiness.
Darren is just like fighting people almost every single episode. It's like the premiere, he took out the influencers. Like, this time around, he took out this, this really, gigantic jerk who was probably going to get beat up at some point or another. But, he makes a deliberate move to get this guy in a place where he can do something like this. And I don't know if he's just looking for like a temporary escape with all of this.
I think he's just, at this point, looking for a way to push away the man that he's seeing that really wants to get close to him. Because of everything that happened with Adrian. Adrian and that whole situation, just he was so in love and his heart got just completely smashed that he can't open up again. And every time he has someone like this new guy who's like, listen, we've been dating a little
Yeah.
while now. We've gone on quite a few dates. Like, I would like to actually just take you out on like a real date where we can get to know each other. And he takes him out, and still, Darren is just not having it. He doesn't want to open up. And finally, he beats up this guy in front of his date
Yeah.
to be like, you want to know who I am? This is who I am. You all right with that? Doesn't look like it by the look on your face.
No, like, that it was like another heartbreaking moment. I will say there was one of the funnier moments of this episode, at least to me, is, his date asking him a little bit more about Smurf. And then he's just like, I got to go to the bathroom. And he just gets up and leaves.
Nobody wants to talk about Smurf.
No.
She is the absolute worst.
No.
Such a good villain.
Yeah, like, Darren, I get you. I understand you with some of that. It's just like, yeah, right now, the Codys, they're a little bit all over the place. There's not like a lot of unification going on here, but I think based on sort of where this Catherine story is going, I feel like once it's really clear to all of them what is happening and that there's all this digging going on in the Pope's past, I think they are going to rally behind him. I think they will try their best, and I think the question will then become like, who else is willing to go down for a lot of this, if not Pope? Because all of them have skeletons that can be dug up.
Yeah, I mean, they really are gearing up to a lot of really big moments. I mean, we saw a really big heist last season. We get to see big heists every season. And now we've got this whole jewelry store heist where they're working with an inside guy with the brother, the half brother, and that they're going to rip this guy off. And I had been wondering, and I'm still wondering, if this last season is going to be a situation where they have a huge heist that does not work out for them, and that they really are facing real jail time, the real end of the Cody boys running everything, on top of everything that's going to be coming out with this investigation with Pope. Like, there is real danger that is coming up here.
We need there to be real danger. Like, that's sort of the thing. I've never really gotten the sense that Animal Kingdom was going to be a show that was all about a happy ending for a lot of these characters. Like, maybe one of them will end up being free by the end of this, but there is danger and problems coming from all fronts. Here is the big question with this heist. Will anything top the safe going out the window?
Know, right, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I know. The bar is set high, but we, of course, will be here to discuss episode 5 once it airs. But, hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss that, any of our other coverage. We have a lot of other discussions on The Boys, Only Murders in the Building. We highly suggest you check those out, and we will see you guys here next time.